Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. And yes, it's another makeup tutorial with a bare naked face. This is like my go-to date night makeup or a date makeup. In fact, I wear this makeup quite often, and I think it's quite appropriate for the Valentine's Day, as personally my husband doesn't like too much of color in the makeup, so I like to keep it nice and neutral, very soft, subtle, yet very glamorous. And I would be giving you two lip options. You can completely rock this look during the day and during the night as well. A very simple kind of a makeup tutorial, and it is also a chit chat kind of a makeup tutorial, so it is going to be long because I've been having a lot of questions from you guys about my absence on YouTube for such a long period of time. So yes, we shall be addressing that concern, and without further ado, let's get started with the video. So whenever I'm stepping out for a special occasion or a date night for that matter, I try and use a face mask before, which I did. That is from the Ennscloset. It's called the Illuminous face mask. It gives your skin the most beautiful glow. All the products that I shall be mentioning during the video shall be linked in the description box below. So I use that face mask, and then I use my Estee Lauder serum, the night serum. I know it's really silly that you use a night serum during the day, but I think it just nicely hydrates my skin before makeup, and you don't want your skin looking dry and patchy while you're on a date. You want it to look absolutely flawless, so we are aiming at that, and hence I put the serum on. So now that my skin is all hydrated with the serum, I'm going to start off with the primer, and the primer that I've chosen today is the Photo Finish primer. I know we are going to be taking pictures when we are out on a date or whatever, I mean special occasion that you have. So I'm taking this one. This is in the light version. I also do love the Smashbox, the silicone primer, the photo ready silicone primer, but that gets a little too heavy for my skin, and at times, you know, my skin starts to break out with that. So that's why I'm using the light version. This one works really well for me. So I've nicely patted the primer all over my face. I'm also going to take a little bit down my neck because I'm wearing a white dress. So, you know, I don't want any transfers happening on the neck of the dress. So I'm going to put a little bit there. Even in my ears, I always do that. So there you have it. And for my foundation, I will be using my Estee Lauder Double Wear. I feel on a date night it's very important that you wear something which is going to be transfer proof, because probably you will be hugging and cuddling or whatever, and you don't want any transfers on your boyfriend's or your husband's clothes. So even I don't want it, so I'm going to use the Estee Lauder Double Wear. I am using the shade 2W2 Ratan, and I love how this fares on my skin. I have a combination skin, so it fares really well. Extremely long lasting on my skin, which most of the foundations are not. So, but I found out one thing: as I'm aging, my skin is changing texture. Like, it was more oilier earlier, but now it is a little more on the dry side. So I would be adding a few drops of oil to this foundation. On a palette, I'm going to just take the foundation. Believe me, with this foundation, you don't want to go heavy-handed. Little goes a long way. Build it up as you go, because this is pretty high on coverage. So if you slop on too much in one go, you're going to end up with too much foundation on your face. So go easy with this foundation. And I'm going to mix it with this Indulgio Rose Gold Oil. I have been using this for myself as well as on my clients for like the longest period of time. Now coming to clients, a lot of you asked me why I was missing from YouTube for such a long time. A lot of you who have been following me on my Instagram, I shall be linking the Instagram handle also in the description box. So basically I've just added 3 drops of this oil. So I will be linking my Instagram handle in the description box. And those of you who have been following me on Instagram know that I am a professional makeup artist and I travel for my work quite often. So if you're not following me on Instagram, you're missing out quite a bit. Okay, so I like take bridals. I specialize in bridals. So I travel the country for my makeups, and I have been traveling crazily during the past few months because that was the bridal season, as you may say, the shadi season. So I was extremely busy. Last 3-4 months have been taking a toll on me as far as my health goes, but I've been loving every bit of it. I'll probably include a few clips of the few brides that I did, and you must completely check out my Instagram because that is where I post all my the clients that I'm doing or the makeups that I'm doing. I have been traveling extensively to Jhansi, Orchha, to Nasik, to Delhi, to Lucknow. I've been doing work in Kanpur itself, so there's a lot happening, and I just love the whole process of getting a bride ready and getting them ready for their special events, getting their moms ready, getting their sisters ready. So I just love the whole process, and that's how I love traveling and I love dressing people up. So I think this is the best profession that I could ask for. I am a traveling makeup artist, and I've been loving the whole journey so far. And here are a few of my brides if you would like to take a look. There's so much of happiness around when you're going and doing a bride. There's so much of happiness, and I love being a part of this happiness. So yes, all the details how to book me for your bridals or for your events are shared on my Instagram page. So just in case you guys are interested or any one of your friends are interested, do check out my Instagram handle. I have my phone number, I have my mail ID, everything mentioned there. So yes, that was about the profession. And as I mixed 3 drops of oil in my foundation, I'm taking this YBP Makeup Perfector and I'm going to just dot it first. I always like to put this foundation with a sponge because I feel that a sponge is always like more hydrating on the skin than the brush. So yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna just start dabbing. As you can see, I've used very little amount and it's already started to give me the coverage. Okay, with this foundation I have also realized that you wouldn't see the coverage in like one go, but you need to give it like 5 minutes to settle, and then you can actually make out what it's done to your skin. So don't go overboard thinking that nothing is happening, the coverage is not showing. Don't go overboard doing that because it shows up after 5 minutes. So yes, as you can see, although it's like a mattifying foundation, the rose gold oil definitely adds a little bit of luminosity to the foundation, which I think everybody would like on a date night. So you don't want to look like caked up, you want to look nice and glowing from within. So that's what we are aiming at. Never forget your ears. And as you can see, my foundation looks pretty flawless. There are a few spots peeking through, but I will be covering it up with a concealer. I don't like to go very heavy handed with the foundation, rather I like to conceal my imperfections with a concealer. I think that gives me a more natural coverage and gives me more control over how my base is looking. So as you can see, I'll give you a close-up. It is nice and luminous. It's covered mostly all the redness in my face, but it's nice and dewy, looks very natural and skin-like. For my concealer today, I would be using the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer. This is in the shade Custard. And I'm going to just apply it a little bit under my eyes, nose, and the spots that I have for correction. Alright guys, just an update. We have crossed 1K on our YouTube channel. So yay, and thank you so much for all your support, guys. I think it just means a lot when you subscribing to someone on a YouTube channel. It means that you're really trusting them, and thank you so much for your support. There have been people who have been contacting me on social media when I was missing out of action to check if I was all right, and it just feels like one huge family that we have. And I hope that we just keep growing like that, and all the love and affection which is there with the bonding that we all share. I think it's just something really, really special. Thank you so much. And yes, this definitely is a milestone. I would be doing a giveaway soon. I know when I say soon, you people must be like, when? But believe me, I'm trying to get the best things for you for a giveaway. So it's just taking a little bit longer than I expected. So yes, definitely once I have the things in my hand, once I have decided what I want to do, definitely I will be updating you. So going to take this, concealer on top of the eyelid, because that way it also tends to act like a base for the eyeshadows that you're going to put on, and you don't have to put an eyeshadow primer separately. I have these dark I wear glasses, so I have these areas which are like really deep set and dark, so I ensure that that's where the concealer is going. So now that we're done with the concealing, I'm going to just set my face with this Fit Me powder in the shade 220. I'm just going to take this over a large fluffy brush, and I'm going to just set my face. I'm not going to powder too much. I'm just going to powder the center of my face, where we've just basically the areas that we've concealed. I've just set the center of my face because this foundation that we've used is dries down matte and does have that and does have that powdery kind of a finish. So I need not powder my whole entire face when I'm especially using this foundation. So it's just the areas that we've concealed that I've actually applied powder on. I would be using my all-time favorite bronzer, which is Hoola from Benefit, and yes, I've already hit pan on this one, so I know I have to get another one soon. So I'm just taking it on like an angular brush and just nicely tapping off the excess, because I don't want any harsh lines moving around on my face. So I don't want to keep the contour too harsh. I want to look chiseled, but not like with stripes on my face. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just gently start tapping. I'm not gonna like run it. I'm just gonna start tapping so that you can actually feel your the cheekbone, and just tap 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 tap. I don't know, this way I feel that you're able to feel your cheekbone also, and you're able to apply the bronzer at the right place. So just little tips and tricks from a makeup artist to you. One thing which I feel that a lot of people make a mistake is when they are doing contouring here, they just do it here and don't take it down on the neck. So what happens is when you're clicking pictures, this comes like a stripe, because rest of the neck shows your skin color and you have like bronzer here. So no stripes, please. So what you're gonna do is take a little bit of bronzer and just run it down so that there's a lot of uniformity. Just take it down your neck. Just keep blending, blending, blending. You don't need too much. For date nights or for any special occasion, I like a blusher which is a little bit on the reflective side. So I really like this one in particular, which is Luminoso by Milani. And this is what it looks like. It's a beautiful peachy kind of a color and has gold reflex in it. I'm going to take it on the same angular brush. The blush on the brush. Okay, I'm going to take it on the same angular brush, and again I'm not going to swipe, I'm going to tap. Okay, so give yourself a nice smile and just start to tap. If you don't like a luminous blush, you can completely go in with a matte blush and then just top it up with a nice highlighter. And with that, my cheeks are nice and blushing, and I love this color. I think it is very flattering for medium skin tones. On very fair skin tones, I think it might look too orange, which I'm sure is not very flattering. Anyone who has medium skin tones with a little bit of warmth in it, like yellow undertones, this blush looks wonderful. Moving on to the highlight, I am going to be using this pack highlighter in the shade 07. This is by far the best drugstore highlighter that I found, and you will just see why. It just blends perfectly into your skin. I'm going to take a very little amount because this thing is highly pigmented, and I'm going to just brush it over. Can you see? I'm just like very lightly brushing it, and you can already see that, you know, the highlight is beaming. Very little. Again, I'm just barely touching the product. And you know, the thing with the baked highlighters is that they last you like forever. Forever means forever. I'm going to just run the same brush on the the arch of my brow, just to connect the whole thing, and here as well, just to, like, you know, connect. And what I like to do is I like to like little smile. I'm not taking any more product on my brush, and just give that little bit of a dusting. I think, you know, it just makes it look a little more natural, a little more healthy. I am not picking up any extra product because I don't want my nose highlight to go crazy. I have a very long nose, so I don't want it to pick up too much light. Again, a little bit of product here, on like right above your brow arch, a little bit on the chin and on the cupid's bow. And what I like to do is, after I've put the highlighter on, I like to just tap it with my finger so that it just melts into my skin and looks like I am lit from within. I just love this shade. I think it is such a flattering shade of highlight for Indian skin tones. I think if you're looking for a good highlighter, this is really good to invest in. So there we have the bronzing, blushing, highlighting all done. Let's move on to the eyes. And for the eyes, I'm going to be using this Juvia's Place palette today. I am going to stick to mostly these browns that you have here, this family. So in case you don't have this palette, you can go in with any kind of browns, bronzes that you have. In fact, rather than using the eyeshadows, you can even use your bronzer for the same. So yes, it's as I said, it is a very simple look that I will be doing, because I would like to keep the eyes simple so that I can play the lips as I want, whether I want it neutral or I want it red, because I think red really complements the white dress. So I'm going to dip into this shade here. If you have this palette, you already know that this is like a flicking, highly pigmented palette. So I'm just picking up like very little, barely touching my brush, and I'm going to put it in my crease line, tapping off the excess. What I like to do is I like to just tilt my head a little bit so that I can see the crease of my eye a little better. That's another tip for you girls out there who have a difficult time in finding out where to put the transition color. So with a very light hand, see, when you hold your brush at the end, it's going to give you the least pressure and the color is going to be like more blended. So that's what I'm doing right now, because that's a pigmented palette, as I told you. I'm just building up the color in the crease. I'm just gradually building up the crease area. So guys, tell me in the comment section below, what are your plans for the Valentine's Day? And I'm also going to run the same color underneath my eyes. And there, the structure of the eye is already there. And now I'm going to dip into a shade which is a little darker than this, which is this one. You know, instead of just, if you find it difficult to figure out a good shade for transition for your eyes, pick up a bronzer. That works the best. what I'm going to do is, now I'm going to just swirl that dark color on the outer edges of my eye and just very slightly going into the crease. I'm keeping that lower than the first color that we put, and I'm going to just gradually intensify the color. If you pick up too much color in one go, it is like, you know, it'll get very difficult for you to blend it out. It's always better to build up than to, you know, take off. I always believe in starting with a very light hand first. And as you can see, it's nicely deepened up the corner and it has given more structure to the eye. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other eye as well. I'm again going to dust the same darker color just on the outer 1/3 of the eye. And there you go. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take this shade, which is like a nice champagne-y kind of a color. If you have a champagne highlighter, you can completely go in for that. I'm just going to dip my finger into that shade. Oops. And I'm going to just apply it to the lids. And as you can see, this palette has a beautiful color payoff. If you're looking to buy a new palette which has like beautiful neutral colors, I think this is a really good palette to go for. A lot of Instagram stores have been selling this palette, extremely pigmented, and it does also give you like a little bit of array of colors to play around with. Some nice purples, blues, greens, which I think are all earthy tones and suit the Indian skin quite a bit. So yes, if you're looking for a new palette, this definitely is a good buy. You see how intensely shiny the eyeshadows are? And that's our eye look pretty much done. I am also going to take the same shade, the champagne-y shade, on like a pencil brush, tap off the excess, and going to run it in that inner 2/3 which we had left blank. So this like really opens up your eye. Now on the same pencil brush, I will be taking this shade here, which is like a lighter version of the same, and I'm going to highlight the inner corners of my eye. There, can you see? You know, highlighting the inner corners of your eyes makes you look more awake, more fresh, and you don't want to be looking dull on the date, do you? So there you have it. And the same shade I'm going to also apply on the brow bone. Remember, we've already put the highlighter there, so we don't want to overdo the brow bone area as well. So yeah, very slightly. This is called the Smoky Eyes Intense Kohl, and I'm going to just put it in the upper waterline as well as on the bottom waterline. So there you have it. I've put the kajal on. If you want, you can put a nice winged liner also with this look. I am not a liner person. If you know me, I am just not a liner person. I don't like to put liner. I rather, you know, coat my lashes with oodles and oodles of mascara, and that's what I'm going to do. For this, I would be using the Benefit Roller Lash. This has been off late my go-to mascara. I love the effect that it gives to my lashes. For the brows, I don't want my brows looking overly stark, so I'm going to use this dark brown eyeshadow which we had used in our eye. I'm going to take it on an angled brush like this. But whenever you're using eyeshadows, ensure that they're not very warm toned, otherwise it's going to look too the eyebrows are going to look like really reddish. So ensure that it's like a cool tone gray brown that you're using. So there, both my brows are done. Now moving on to the lips. As I told you, I would be giving you two options. One is like a more neutral option, and the other one is definitely my favorite, which is a red lip. So for the nude option, I'm using this lipstick from Ennscloset. This is in the number 16. It's called Bellini N. This is like the most beautiful warm toned nude for Indian skin. So if you're looking for a good nude lipstick, this definitely is a good lipstick to try. It is full of emollients, cocoa butter, shea butter, very, very hydrating on your lips. It's not like those dehydrating kind of lipsticks. Very, very nourishing, and it's made out of all natural ingredients, which is like great. It's not gonna harm your lips or not even, you know, discolor your lips, as in certain lipsticks, they tend to, you know, discolor your lips. So this is not gonna do that. This is what it looks like. Has a beautiful satin finish. It's not a matte lipstick. So if you have like really dry lips, this is such a good option to go for. And the color is absolutely stunning. So that's the first look. Now for the red lips, I am using this Smashbox Always On liquid lipstick in the shade Bawse. Yes, with that we come to an end of this tutorial. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and if you are recreating any of my looks, do tag me on Instagram and do follow me on Instagram, because that is where I put up most of my work that I do as a makeup artist. So yes, to keep up with that, do follow me on Instagram, and if you like this look, do give this video a thumbs up and do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Until my next video, bye bye.